opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a beautiful Wednesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig right next to Scotty Mincher over there on my right. Brought to you by Greenwood right above our heads. You love Wednesdays if you're Greenwood Chevrolet because your logo gets really big and it's doubled on the graphic. Scotty, I think Greenwood Chevrolet just loves when you come on because it has to be a 2-box and their logo gets huge right above your head.
Well, you know, I'm good for something, Anthony.
Scotty's here to please, guys.
Good for something. I am a people pleaser. I'm a people person.
We know that, Scotty. How are you doing today, man? How are we doing?
I'm good, and I apologize. I was a little tardy linking up today. I accidentally cut myself shaving this morning, and then, you know, it turned into quite a nightmare. I won't give you the visuals because I don't
Please
want
don't.
to
No.
gross everybody out. But so that's why I was tardy. But other than that, I'm great.
You weren't tardy by much, Scotty.
Not by much, though. I
No.
was. What did I say? Fashionably
Fashionably late for the diva you are, Scotty. We know you have a trailer out there. I'll be in my trailer. It can't work like this.
Yeah.
Just-
Wish I was. I wish I was heading to the softball all-star game tonight, but
remember, I got moved to tomorrow.
What's that?
Remember, I got moved to tomorrow. It's tomorrow now. Tonight's weather looks rough. Okay.
So did you guys drop that news?
Monday.
Okay. My bad. I've had a lot of stuff going on. So
all good, Scotty. So yeah, just to remind everyone out there, softball all-star game originally scheduled for tonight, but we saw on Monday, and we see today even the forecast has not changed at all. It looks like it's going to get pretty torrentious. Is that a word? I'm making it a word. Torrentious tonight, with rain in the forecast, high winds in the forecast, and even hail may be expected. So we said hail no to that. Andrew DePaulo and our good friends over at Storm Tracker 21 keeping us involved. And once we saw the forecast in a good amount of time ahead, you know, we had 2 days, we were able to push it back a day. I was talking on Running Point on Monday. Kind of lucky that it happened like that, where the forecast was off in the future. We could see it ahead of time because it would have been really hard to move it if we showed up today expecting it to be tonight. Then we look up at the skies and go, there's no way. And then, you know, moving it on that short notice is just not possible. So we got as lucky as you can get when you have to move the date by knowing it in the future and being able to give us a couple of days to move it. So, but yeah, softball all-star game, not tonight anymore. Scheduled for tonight, now tomorrow at 6 o'clock at YSU. You still there, Scotty? Did we lose you?
I'm there. You seemed to freeze there for a second too.
Oh my gosh, glitch gremlins on a Wednesday. That's not good.
Yeah, glitch gremlins. But actually, not that, I want anything, I wish Mother Nature was cooperating better, but I'm kind of glad that it's tomorrow because there's more of a chance I could see it in action now and get a ride. And so hopefully I'll be able to be there.
Yeah, I
But
told you if you need us to, we'll get that Ysn helicopter to pick you up and land you next to the softball field. The
helicopter.
Ysn chopper. We'll just borrow 21 news chopper and we'll put a Ysn sticker on it. Come pick you up.
Then you would really know I was a high maintenance prima donna.
Oh yeah, come in with your shades and the fit.
Yeah,
Gotta have some bling if you're gonna come up in a helicopter too. Have you ever flown? Have you ever flown?
I twice,
Okay.
um, both to California. Once
California.
was actually because I don't know if I told you, but my cousin, she married Ray Boom Boom Mancini. So one time
There you
we went out there for his wedding, and then another time me and my brother went to see the Browns
go.
play the Chargers, and it was when the Browns were terrible
No, wait
and
a minute. Time out.
lost.
The Browns play a lot of teams that are a lot closer than LA. Why'd you pick that game?
We just wanted to see the sunshine or pretty
Okay. See
weather.
that's fair. Did they not play Miami that year?
No, they did not play
Okay.
Miami
So
that
let's pick a
year.
warm spot that they're at and go and watch them. That's fair. Northeast Ohio can have the winter blues. That's fair.
Yeah, yeah, it was just strict because even the stadium, like it was like kind of cool,
Was
but
that
it
their new one or were they
that
still
was
using
an
the soccer
older.
stadium at that point?
No,
Or was that even back further when they were San Diego? Oh,
did you hear me?
no, I didn't.
I said it was. They were still the San Diego
So it
Chargers.
was back when they were San Diego. Okay. It was real weird. They moved from San Diego to LA, but for like 3 years they had to use the soccer stadium because their stadium wasn't built yet. So
Yeah, it was. You cut out on me.
man, glitch gremlins. I
The
don't even have a
glitch
Wi like
gremlins are everywhere.
dang.
Yeah,
Usually if I'm having connection issues, the screen has a little Wi-Fi logo on it and it doesn't have it. So I don't know what's going on.
yeah, they're being sneaky.
Good thing we don't have an actual guest that we're interviewing for content today.
Yeah, that is a good thing. But I'll flip the question back to you, Anthony. Um, have you ever flown?
Oh yeah, I've flown and it took me until the actual last time I flew to know that most airlines, I don't know if all airlines have it, but most airlines have a chair that you can sit in and it will get you through the aisle to whatever your seat is. Did not know that before, know that now. Because when we flew to Kansas City, which is the last time I flew, we flew there for the Chiefs game a couple of years ago. They put us in like row 36, and I had to walk from the top of the plane all the way to almost the back of the plane. And we had to do that twice because we had a layover. And I was like, at the second flight going to so this was like my third trip through the plane, right? I had to go to my seat in the first plane. We landed, I had to get off the plane, and then I had to go back onto my seat for the second flight. By the time we landed, I was like, there's just no way I'm going to be able to walk again the length of this plane. And they're like, oh, we have a chair that can go through the plane and then come and pick you up, and then we can just get you through the aisle. And I was like, why did I not know about this for my first 30 years of existence?
Yeah, that oh man, talk about wow. After
No,
after all of that,
it's really weird. I don't know how they get you on planes. I don't know if they use the chair on you, but like you have to be like this, like you're in a like in a straight jacket, because otherwise your elbows will hit the the seats because there's not a lot of room in those aisles. So you're sitting there like this, and they also strap your legs like in on you so that your knees can't hit. So you really feel compressed, man. Like if you have claustrophobia, you are not gonna like this chair because you're like tight in here, and your legs are squeezed together and strapped down, so you don't hit anything.
Yeah, man. See, when I went, they still obviously I couldn't go in my power chair.
Right,
I had to go in my manual push chair, but
right.
they stored it like in another spot.
Yeah, they
And
put it under the plane with all your luggage.
my brother lifted me out of my chair, and I was able to get into a seat. So
But you probably got the seats that were like right at the top of the plane.
yeah,
You didn't have to go through the whole plane.
no,
See, you
I
got special treatment. I
I
did.
did I did get the special
The
treatment.
only special treatment I got was I got the pre-board. And so it's like, hey, you get to go and make that walk before everybody else at least. Because that's why I have a disability, so I can pre-board on airplanes. It's the only reason.
I'm only in it for the
Yep,
parking.
parking spots and pre-board. Those are the two reasons to be handicapped, ladies and gentlemen. In the pickup line, I'm falling for you. 3 reasons.
Falling for you.
3 reasons right there. Scotty, we're talking about all-star games. I want to get this back on track because you were at the baseball one on Saturday. I want to get your thoughts, your takeaways, and what you thought of it and how you enjoyed your time down there at Bobstein Park for our all-star game.
I absolutely loved it. I mean, the only negative, and I don't know if you kind of felt this way, Anthony. I'm sure you did. I think everybody did. As soon as you rolled up to scene, and you were, it's such a beautiful facility, beautiful complex, but it just felt like even at that time, once the game, uh, there was whatever. And even during that time, it just felt like an oven outside. So that was probably really the only negative. Other than that, and I think DJ said it too when I was chatting with him a bit during the game. I mean, these all-star games, um, you could take so many great things away from them. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I loved the basketball all-star game, and it was so great getting to be a judge with Andrew and Madison and Kelly and like that was all outstanding. But there's something about watching an all-star game and being outside, and especially at scene, like sitting, behind home plate and just hearing that hearing Red like do the introductions and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, if you love baseball, you love that moment. It's one of my favorite nights of the year, honestly, for sure. And what I love about it is, you know, the the basketball all-star games, you get to see the stars, and we had so many great competitions, but everyone on the teams are wearing the same jersey. Baseball, you get to see all the different color combinations, and that's what I love. It's just like a blend of all the cool, unique combos. I think that's one of my favorite things about it is everyone has a representative, and in my head, I start like thinking about ranking the jerseys and the color combinations again. Like, has my top 5 changed? Like,
Come on, let's do it right now. All-star game unis. What were your favorites?
I'll think about that quite often. Well,
Put you on the spot, man.
Anthony, you're putting me on the spot. I'll give you.
It's your fault you brought it up. So blame yourself. But we have to talk about the uniforms now.
Yeah, I'll give you 5, okay? Now, you know I'm a Lowville grad, and, I guess, I got to bleed some blue and gold. But before I bled the blue and gold, I was originally from Sioux City, Camel, and I love the combination of black and red.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, it's hard for me to order these, but Camel would definitely be in my top 5.
Okay.
Um, love the black and red color combination. Uh, Also, Cardinal Mooney,
I like theirs. Yep, that's sweet.
like theirs an awful lot. They would be in my top 5 as well. I'd also go because, I do love black, but it has a lot to do with me being a Browns fan. Is as much as I would have a little bit of hostility when I was in high school towards Springfield, that orange and black, it
Mhm.
just looks good and it reminds me of like Halloween and getting candy. So that'll always, it's always gonna be ranked high. I'd
Neither of
also
their kids wore it, but Springfield has really good black jerseys too. I don't know if you've ever seen them on our front page or for one of our stories. They have really nice black uniforms. They wore their oranges, which were good, but the Springfield's black jerseys, ooh, they smash.
yeah, and I think for a couple more, I would probably go. Hmm. I really, I really like one. I'm gonna go Warren JFK,
Okay,
and
red, white, and blue.
I,
Can't beat it.
the last one to kind of complete the top 5. Um, I guess I would have to go Lowville. I mean, I can't.
I thought you started off with Louisville.
No, I started off with Camel,
Louisville, Camel, Louisville, Camel, Springfield. Oh, you put Mooney in there too. Okay.
Mooney, and
All right,
Warren
gotcha.
JFK.
We got 5. That's good. All right,
Um,
I'll do mine now. Um, I'm a very big blue, like the blue on black really always gets me. So Lakeview, Andrew Brown wore his black jersey with the blue. It gives the Duke alternate vibes for Duke basketball that I think are. I do not like Duke. I'm a Georgia Tech fan. We're in the same conference, but their black uniforms with the blue Duke top notch, and Lakeview gives that off. So gotta love that for number. No order, just 5. I'm with you. I like Cardinal Mooney. I like that red and yellow mix. It's not your typical red and yellow. It's not like, Kansas City red and yellow, but it's not quite burgundy either. So it's not quite South Range. It's a very unique color scheme for Cardinal Mooney, and I like their jerseys. I liked the Rams, the Middle Ridge Rams, and especially the hat. The hat did it for me. Hats can complete a jersey. If the jersey's like good and the hat's really really good, that boosts that jersey way up. I like the Middle Ridge, the ram head looking right at you on the hat. I actually liked Lisbon's jersey. I don't know if you saw them. They were white, but they had the blue going across and Lisbon, but it was like blue and then a couple of shades, in staggered. They were kind of like stripes. I kind of liked Lisbon's jersey. Um, and then I also was a big fan of McDonald, man. That McDonald jersey, I know DJ liked it too. I'm kind of stealing one of his. I think if he could have grabbed that off of Carson Clace's, back and taken it home with him, he would have. Scotty, it's pretty much Milwaukee's, blue and yellow color scheme. Looks really cool. And then I'm with you. I'm a sucker for navy blue and gold because I'm a Georgia Tech fan. So Louisville, that color scheme's always on a rock for me. So I do like Louisville as well. Some honorable mentions: South Range with the range and the name on the back of the jersey. Those were specialty jerseys they got to wear a couple of times this year. Those were fire. Love seeing them being brought out. I really liked the Poland jerseys, though they wore their whites. And then I think East was really cool. And I liked navy blue and navy blue and yellow again. So that color scheme's always going to be fire. And I really liked East uniform. And shout out to Yadiel for wearing it really well.
And I also, another uniform, and I guess they would fit into my honorable mention category. But I don't know. The older I get, the more and more, and of course, it's incorporated into the the our color scheme, the YSN color scheme. But the more and more, the older I get, I like red. So to me, something about I mentioned the Cardinal Mooney, which is more of the burgundy, more burgundy-esque, but something about those Columbiana Clippers, and maybe it's because I've had such a good relationship with Bob Spate over the years, but that's one I would throw in there too.
They were one of the pinstripes, Scotty. Where do you sit on pinstripes? Are you yay or nay on pinstripes?
It's funny because when I was younger, I did not like pinstripes at all. And now it's like I've totally flipped. Like, I love the pinstripes. I think it's a really cool look.
For me, pinstripes are good, but only if if the stripes are the dark color and the base is the light color. I don't like if the jersey and the pants are dark and the pinstripes are like white or yellow or one of the lighter colors. I don't necessarily like that as much. I think it pops a little bit too much and this kind of throws off your mind a little bit. But I do like light colored jerseys with dark pinstripes a little bit more.
So when you cut out again,
Dang.
what were you saying you don't like about?
I like pinstripes, but only if they're the light color base with the dark color stripes. So, like,
Okay,
I don't like if you wear like
light
a
on
black
dark.
jersey with white pinstripes.
Yeah,
That's a no-go for me.
you don't like dark on light.
Light on dark. I like dark pinstripes on light jerseys. I don't like light pinstripes on dark
On
jerseys.
dark jerseys. Okay, got it. Yeah. It's I don't know, something about it over the years, and I even like a lot of the hats now. One of my hats, they got the stripes on the hat.
Ooh,
And I
pinstripes on the hat. Yeah.
think that's really cool too.
I feel like that's making a trend back. I feel like when I was growing up, there were a lot of old school hats that had the pinstripes. And now, it went away for a while, and now they're coming back and being cool again.
Yeah, it's kind of like like a 90s, like bringing back like a 90s, early 2000s.
Bring back something good from the 90s. We've been media has been feeding us nothing but like ruining our childhood with trauma of the 90s and things that were dark about the 90s. And I'm like, let's get back to the things that I enjoyed about my childhood, please. Stop ruining it for me. They ruined Nickelodeon for me. Can't watch any of the old Nickelodeon shows anymore because I know what was going on behind the set now, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that terrible? Like Nickelodeon.
Look. I'm not trying to make light of everything that it's very terrible, but it's still like it's hard to watch shows I grew up with now, knowing like, ooh, there's some really sketchy stuff going on back there,
Yeah.
So now it's you try to just enjoy the things that made you laugh, but the nostalgia has really worn off for some of those shows, because of that documentary that came out.
For sure, certain. Yeah, it's
And you were growing up in the 90s too. I mean, you probably had the same
and
stuff.
um
Even like less traumatizing stuff. Like I love the Angry Beavers cartoon. When I was growing up, I thought it was like peak entertainment, Saturday morning cartoons. But then when you find out like the arguments and the back and forth they had with the network and how kind of ugly conversations between them and Nickelodeon got, and how they were kind of feeding in jokes about Nickelodeon on the show, and it ended. They were supposed to end the show on an episode that like completely satiricalized the whole network and Nickelodeon, but then they didn't. When it's stuff like that that's like, well, that just ruins it for me.
well, I don't know about you, Amp, but I was a very like sheltered kid. Like
Oh man.
there wasn't a lot like I was allowed uh to want, but like it's like looking back on it now, it's like um especially with the Nickelodeon stuff, it's like, wow, when you're a kid, it just totally goes over your head. But also, there's some cartoons like Ren and Stimpy. I always used to wonder, like, why wasn't I? It's not bad. Why wasn't I able to? And then I put it on now, and it's like, oh, that's why.
Ren and Stimpy. Ooh, they got away with stuff, man. They
Yeah.
got away with stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Oh
For
man.
sure.
What so give me like what are some things that you think normal kids in the 90s probably were allowed to watch that you weren't? Give me some examples.
Uh, like Ren and Stimpy was
Okay, understandable.
definitely at the top of the list. Um, let's see what else. Uh, no, no Beavis and Butthead.
That's understandable. Not a kid show.
Uh, yeah, so that was another one. I'm trying to think.
Simpsons?
Simpsons, I wasn't allowed.
Okay,
No.
that's understandable. It's not really a kid show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There
See, I thought
was
you were gonna bring out some like crazy stuff, like you weren't allowed to watch Scooby Doo or something because it was, criminals and kids in a van, probably getting high in the Scooby machine.
no. I watched Scooby Doo, but there
Good.
was another one that was on pretty regularly. It might have been. Was it? It might have been like Rugrats.
What?
Yeah, just because I think it was Angelica, like her, like just kind of
She was a bully. She was straight up evil.
was a straight up bully. Uh, I don't think my mom was super like she didn't hate it, but she didn't like the bullying part of it. I don't know. Because my mom, she's like one of the sweetest people you'll meet. So,
Angelica was a straight up psychopath. Let's just be
yeah,
honest, because she would be completely smiley face and sweetest girl ever to her parents, and then turn around and turn into like the most evil, rotten little brat when she was with the babies by herself.
yeah, you dumb babies.
That opening credit scene to Rugrats is like somewhat off-putting and creepy at the same time. I don't know if you remember the like the opening titles, like the animation style and the way that it's like the music isn't creepy, but it kind of is. It always gave me creepy vibes.
Yeah, it is kind. It was the dun 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 dun
Yep,
dun.
yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Reptar though, peak animation. Go Reptar.
Reptar was oh,
I was a Godzilla fan, so I love Reptar.
another one I think was you remember Our Real Monsters?
Oh yes, With the guy that had his eyeballs and he was holding them.
Yeah, she didn't like. She thought that was weird and bizarre. So.
You know what? I bet she probably would not like Rocco's Modern Life either, because that show, kind of like Ren and Stimpy, got away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've watched some.
And
like,
I think
this
they
was
were
probably
they had to be
several-
legitimately high when they were animating that.
Yeah. Well, you think about like some of these shows, and like you wonder how they come up with stuff, and it's like they had to be like.
Yeah, a little bit of the help from the grass, a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Remember, like, I'm sure you remember Gullah Gullah Island.
Yeah, you know, like, we know what you were doing. Come
Yeah.
on. Some of my peak cartoons though as a kid, I loved Recess. Recess was like the jam.
You a Hey Arnold fan?
I never no. I just
No.
didn't get into it. Like, wasn't big on Hey Arnold. SpongeBob, that's classic. The comedy in SpongeBob is peak.
What
I
about
watched a lot of Scooby-Doo. Cartoon Network didn't have a ton that I watched growing up. Like, it was Scooby-Doo, yeah, but then like I didn't watch Codename Kids Next Door. I didn't watch any of the like Courage the Cowardly Dog or Ed, Edd n Eddy. Those weren't really my jam. Dexter's Lab a little bit. But I liked fairly like the Nickelodeon cartoons were probably where I landed, and then for the Disney Channel, it was more of their like quote unquote sitcoms, like Sweet Life, That's So Raven, Lizzie McGuire. That's where I went for Disney Channel. But for cartoons, it was pretty much Nickelodeon.
what about on Nick? What about Rocket Power?
Rocket Power was good.
Yeah. We
Squid.
are riders on a mission.
Squid.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Get back to sports. Don't worry, we had some pop culture tangents. We're gonna have that during the summer. We're gonna take a break. Be back to sports. See what's on Scotty's mind when we come back.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig, Scotty Mincher to my right, Greenwood Chevrolet up top above our heads, the big logo. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to. We want to thank them every single day for being wonderful sponsors of this show. We love it. We love having them as sponsors. They've been there since at least I started hosting, and they've never stopped believing in what this show could be. We've had a couple of I guess you could say, style changes to the show and what it is, and they've never kind of wavered in sponsoring us. So we want to thank them for everything they do. Scotty Minter with us. And Scotty, we were talking about 90s cartoons before the break. We forgot about the one that we reference every week on this show, Darkwing Duck, man. It's time to see what's on your mind. Let's get dangerous. What's on your mind today, Scotty?
Yeah, Darkwing Duck. We need to get like dark. I need to get some Darkwing Duck like memorabilia.
I'm telling you, man.
So we have it for this segment, but a couple fun things I wanted to throw at you. I guess I'll start. Obviously we're at the halfway point or more than the halfway point of 2024, Anthony. So I wanted to know from you, and it could be, any sport, anything we covered to this point through the halfway point of the 2024. But what are some of your biggest surprises of the year to this point so far? And you could even go like stuff that's maybe more positive, stuff that maybe is like not necessarily so positive bad, but what are some surprises for you to this point?
Scotty's always testing my memory bank, man, trying to go into the giant archive of stuff that happened this year and think about what surprised me the most. Recency bias, and it wasn't involving YSN teams, but it in fact it affected YSN teams. We had major upsets this year in the softball tournament, especially in Division III, that were just mind blowing to me. And we saw Wheelersburg, who won 2 straight state championships last 2 years, had pretty much their whole team back this year. They were playing a team. They run rolled twice in the regular season, in the regional finals, 1 game away from state, and everyone was like, okay, South Range Wheelersburg, we're kind of penciling that in. And then the South Webster team comes out of nowhere and beats Wheelersburg 3-2. That was like, could not believe it. When I opened Game Changer, I'm on the field after South Range wins, and I open Game Changer, and I'm expecting to see like a 12-2 blowout. And I open it up, and it's like South Webster's up 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th, y'all. So we're all like huddled around my phone in the Game Changer, watching the live scoring go up. That was pretty shocking. And then Triway getting beat out of the tournament too. I mean, Triway was a team that got to the regional championships last year, won state 2 years ago in Division II. Everyone just had them penciled in to be a member of this regional in Division III, and they didn't even get out of their district. So that was pretty surprising too. They're just upsets in softball that you don't normally see. I think softball's one of the sports that's, we've already always said a little bit easier to upset people, softball and baseball, because it's just one day and it's already a kind of a fickle sport. But, those kind of caliber upsets, when a state championship caliber team like Triway or Wheelersburg loses before they even get to state, or in Triway's case, before they even get to regionals, that's just, it never happens. It's not something that's even close to what you think is a possibility. So that was pretty surprising. I know it wasn't involving a YSN team, but it did affect them because we didn't have to deal with Triway in the regional, and we didn't have to play Wheelersburg in the state semifinals. And because of both those things, I think Champion had a much easier route to the regional championship against South Range. They would have played Triway in the regional semis, which would have been a really tough game. And then South Range didn't have to play Wheelersburg in the state semifinals. They won that game and got to the state championship. So it definitely affected YSN schools. Those were big, big surprises. When I'm looking at some other stuff, I'm kind of surprised that the NBA Finals this year, Scotty, and I don't watch the NBA a lot, so I'm just going off of what I hear from the internet and the people that are big NBA fans. But they were just not satisfied at all. They just thought it was a boring finals, nothing really entertaining happening, no big storylines. It's usually a very polarizing league. If you're going to say something about the NBA, it's usually filled with storylines, filled with rivalries or something, but it just felt like they weren't there. There was nothing really to talk about for the NBA finals. I didn't really see a lot of big stories leading on SportsCenter about the NBA finals. It just seemed like a very vanilla NBA season, and I think it's starting to continue to go a little bit downhill for the NBA. I think there's a reason why they had their, mid-season tournament or whatever they called it, because they need to find a way to spice things up because it's not working. And I think this NBA finals was another dip. If you look at the ratings, I think it'll probably stay the same. So we continue to see the NBA kind of lose a little bit of quality. What else surprised me this year? Surprised that the Royals are actually good. If the season ended today, they'd be a half game out of a wild card spot. Like, what in the world happened there? I know they're not playing great right now, the last 2 weeks, but they're still a playoff contending team. I never thought that would happen. That's surprising.
Yeah, they had last year. It was
bad.
It was over 100 losses.
It was so bad last year.
Yeah, it was.
We just made the right moves, getting a lot of pitchers in. There were the right pitchers in the right spot, and we have. I think Seth Lugo right now is like third in the MLB in ERA and like first in wins. So it's like we have a starter that's doing that kind of stuff. Bullpen statistically is pretty good, even though they've shaken a little bit this week. We got pitching, and when you get pitching, you can win games. That's just how it goes. We have the offense to, every offense is going to have its downturns. Once again, we're not hitting well right now, but overall, our offense is really good. So when you have a really good offense and you have pitching to back it up, you're going to win a lot of games in the MLB. So hopefully the Royals can find a way out of this rut they're in right now, because the Guardians are not slowing down a bit. I know you're happy about that with that Guardians hat on, and we're playing each other for the next 4 days after today. They're not slowing down a bit, and we can't afford to slip anymore. We have to, put our foot in the ground and find a way to get some wins here.
It's a big series, although I will say I myself, I got to learn to put my expectation hat on too, because to this point, yes, the Guardians they have the best record in baseball right now. They're blowing through any expectations you could have before the season, but they've also played the weakest schedule in the MLB. So
that's your Cleveland fan trauma coming out.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of definitely some Guardian trauma.
We had a brutal stretch to start this little skid. I mean, we played in consecutive series. We played Seattle, who at the time was first place. I don't know if they are anymore. We played Seattle, Cleveland, New York, and Los Angeles, the Dodgers, in back-to-back-to-back series, and we didn't win any of those series. We won Seattle. We beat Seattle 2 out of 3. We split with Cleveland because we only played 2 games. We lost 3 out of 4 to New York, and we lost 2 out of 3 to Los Angeles, and it seemed like we just keep rolling after that tough stretch. So, because we lost the series to the A's. Like, come on, we can't. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And we're one win. Well, if we don't win today, we lost to the Marlins. It's like, what are we? Come on, we just got swept by the Rangers. They shut us out in 2 straight games.
That's the thing that's crazy about it, though, too, because even the Guardians, Anthony, they've lost 2 series to the White Sox, and the White Sox, yeah.
Caveat division, I give a little bit of leeway to, because you know them a little bit better. There's not nearly as many secrets, and there's just that rivalry factor a little bit. So, I remember back in the years where the Royals weren't good at all, but Cleveland was good. We would play you guys really tough, and we would come out and get wins. And division, I give a little bit of leeway to, but when you're losing to the A's, who are the worst team in baseball, and they came into our series with a 9-game losing streak, and we lose 2 out of 3. I'm like, this was our chance to get out of this rut we're in, and we just And then we came off of that and we got swept by the Rangers. And I'm like, what is happening? They shut us out in back-to-back games. We went like 25 innings without scoring a run.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like a World Series
It's
hangover
baseball.
or whatever.
It's baseball. It's baseball. It's going to happen. Like, you're going to have your ruts. It just, it's frustrating. I don't know how players do it because I'm a fan. I'm a fan right now, losing my mind because it's like we need to get out of this, and the players are in it. And I don't know how Major League Baseball players, they must be like the most mentally tough people on the planet to deal with a slump like this and still put in perspective like, hey, it's 2 weeks. It's like one game of an NFL season. We're fine. Like, I'm panicking, but it's been 2 weeks. Like, I'm sitting here like, we gotta win right now. But there's still like 3 months of baseball still to play.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
I would not survive as an MLB hitter. I just know that. I would not survive at all. There's no way. I'd be trying to swing the crap out of the ball just to get myself out of this groove. And that's what they coach not to do. Like, you're not going to swing yourself out of a slump. I'd be up there like daddy hacking. Like, I'm getting out of this right now. And I'd be throwing stuff and my mind would be in the toilet. I know I am not the guy that can handle that kind of stuff. Because I'm sitting, like I said, as a fan, I'm sitting here like 2 weeks of bad baseball going, well, we're screwed.
But if you're an optimist, Anthony, you could look at it like,
I usually am. The baseball takes all optimism that I have and flushes it down the toilet.
But all it takes if you have a great 2-week stretch,
I know.
Especially if you win this,
I'm like,
you'll be right back on the.
I keep telling myself like, okay, if we win this game against Miami today at 2:00, and then go take like 3 out of 4 from Cleveland, we're fine. Like, let's get back on track. But like, there's a part of me that's also like, well, we suck. We're done.
Yeah. It's hard as a fan when you really have
baseball. Baseball is really hard to navigate as a fan. And I've said this before, like, because Royals won a World Series and the Chiefs won a Super Bowl. It's really different watching your team in a World Series and watching in a Super Bowl, because a Super Bowl, you have 3 hours of just like constant stress, and then you get to let it out when you win. But baseball is like you have a week or maybe 2 weeks if it's a long World Series of just nothing but like it's spread out stress,
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's that stress in smaller doses.
Like, I remember when we lost the first World Series, because that was the first time I went through that experience. That was brutal. Like,
especially
you go and you sweep your way through the playoffs, and then you lose your first game of the World Series, and you're thinking like, well, it's over. And then you go to game, you lose game. I think we lost game 5 in San Francisco, so we're down 3-2, and I'm like, come on. And then we win game 6, like blowout. Like, we just win like 10-0. So you're feeling really high. And then Madison Bumgarner comes and just, rains on your parade.
Yeah. Well, didn't you have the tying run on Thursday?
Yes, because of air in the outfield, and I would have screamed and just send him, because our chances of their shortstop, whose name escapes me now, making a bad throw is higher than us getting another hit off of Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah.
He would have been out by a mile with a good throw, but I'm thinking like, make him throw a good throw. We have a better chance of him botching it than Bumgarner giving up another hit. Come on.
Well,
and of course, Salvador Perez went after a pitch like that was inside and fouled it off into foul territory, and then got caught by the Panda.
Well, sometimes what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, though.
Came back the next year.
Came back
we used it.
Year, beat the Mets.
Amazing Mets.
Yeah.
That was one for them too, because that whole playoff run was like a high for New York, because they had David Murphy breaking like playoff records. No, not David. Was that his name?
That was when what was his name? They called him.
And they had Captain America.
Harvey.
Max Wright is it Harvey or?
I thought it was Harvey.
You're right, Matt Harvey was the Dark Knight. He came in.
Yeah.
He was their starter. They sent him out for the 9th inning because he was pitching really well. We scored a couple off him. But who is that third baseman that was hurt all year? Was it Wright? WRIGHT?
Yeah, wasn't it David?
And they called him like Captain America.
Yeah.
And then they had David Murphy, who was their second baseman that was like breaking, like he had home runs in like 5 consecutive postseason games.
And that was like peak
right.
Jacob deGrom too.
And then they come in the World Series. They have a lead the 9th with one of the best closers in baseball on the mound. He gives up a game-tying home run. That game goes into like 12. Like the Royals won in 5 games, but you still felt like it could have been a 7-game series really easily. It was crazy. It must have been brutal for Mets fans. I'm sorry to bring up trauma if you're out there in Mets country. I'm not sorry at all.
Now the Mets stink. But Anthony, I had another topic.
All right, let's go. What's on your mind?
I was thinking, if I may, to close out the show.
Yeah, go ahead, man. What's on your mind?
I was thinking about this a lot, and here's how I structured this. Okay, I want you to pick, like, it could be any sport. If you could coach any local team in any sport, like, who would you coach? Like, who would, like, for example, if you could be.
Oh, I think we lost you for a second.
I mentioned Bob Spade earlier, or like over the years, like somebody like a Mike Pavlansky. Those are just football names, but it could be any sport. And then the second part of that is if you can trade for any 3 player, like, say, just live in a hypothetical where you got your team, but you really would want a certain player. If you could trade for any 3 players, who would you trade for?
Well, I'm going softball because that's my sport. That's the sport I do coach in the summer. I coach it for travel. I got to go to my alma mater. It would be, if I was ever going to get a high school coaching job, which I wouldn't because I work at high school sports, it's impossible. My first knock on the door would be to South Range, trying to get into that athletics program because it meant so much to me growing up as a sports fan. I'm probably a sports fan because of South Range athletics. So I would try to get somewhere in there, and softball would be the one that I'd be like, hey, when Jeff DeRose decides to hang it up and retire, I would never take his job. If you're out there watching, Jeff, I'm not going after your job. I'm not trying to take it. You can retire first, and then I can come in and replace you. But yeah, that would be the dream. And then, like, if you said, like, if there were 3 players that I would want on my team that maybe weren't on South Range, Sydney Watts, right? Like, duh. To be able to work with and coach a generational talent like that would be something else. I think when I'm talking about that, I would want her catcher to be Leah Figueroa, because my word, when you talk about elite Division I Power 5 catching, you talk about that from Canfield. So I'd probably have her on there. And then, I want to give some small schools some love, and someone that I've loved watching play softball that I think would be just a thrill to coach, graduating from United this year and going on to play college softball, Samantha Lippiett from United, who will be at the All-Star game on Thursday. It's just been like a treat to watch, and what she can do with the bat and how versatile of a hitter she is. I'd love to get in the cage and try to make her even better, and try to see, what her work ethic is and what her routine is and how she kind of puts in work for her swings, because it's such a good swing. I think it gets a little under the radar because of where she goes to high school. It doesn't get a lot of publicity outside of YSN, but I would love to have her on a team as well.
Yeah, I should have known you were gonna go softball.
Of course.
Gotta go.
Scotty, I have to flip your question on you though. Come on, what's a team you would coach, and who in that sport? What are 3 players that you'd bring on your team?
let's see, a team I would coach. I would have to say I'm gonna go. I'm gonna also connect you into this, Anthony. I'm gonna go South Range football because they've really impressed me the last 2 years. 2 years ago, winning state, and I thought they had uh, a really good year again this year, even though it didn't ultimately end how they wanted it to end. But I go South Range football. And I would probably say, now, let me ask you this, Ant. Does it have to be current players or could it be?
I'm gonna say it has to be either current or like 1 year removed. Like you can't go back to like 2010 and be like, I want this guy that played for, you can't go get Brad Smith who played for Cheney and went on to play at Mizzou and played for the Jets and be like, I want him on my team. That doesn't count.
Okay.
But you can get someone that's like recently graduated or graduated this year. So it doesn't have to be like current, but I'm not gonna allow you to go all the way back to like 2010.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'll go Drew DeShields as one.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Let me think here.
The world is on pins and needles, Scotty.
Could I also would I be able to get somebody that recently graduated that did hit milestones in another sport too and bring them into my sport?
Well, he played football, right? You can't just say I want this basketball player and I want to convert him into a football player. But if he played football,
okay. I would go with. I'm gonna go Nick Luceni.
okay, Louisville guy.
Yeah.
Staying at home a little bit, like the home running.
So that's how I got one more, right?
One more player.
One more player. I think I would go. Could I go Billy Skirpack or?
Well, he already played for South Range, so you don't need to draft him. You don't need to trade for him.
Yeah, that's what
you got him already.
I already got him in the holster.
Right.
I'm gonna go.
Think a big South Range rival, Scotty.
Man, I'm blanking right now.
Think about a big South Range rival that went on to play at YSU.
I could go Bo.
There you go. That's what we're going for. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. I was thinking Bo too, but I'm like, wait, is he more than? But he's not more than two.
Acceptable. He's acceptable. I'll take him.
Okay, good.
Like anyone that played during YSN, I think we'll take. Anyone that played. So anyone that graduated either in 17 or after 17, we'll take. We just weren't going to go pre-YSN.
Yeah, cool.
Because then I could have been like Aaron Gabriel, Taryn Alvello, all these girls that graduated back in 2010, 2013.
Yeah, if I go like way back,
Scotty's like,
I would say like Maurice Claret, like even though he had his troubles,
Not in high school though. He's fine. Get high school Maurice.
LJ Scott.
LJ, that's a good one. Maybe some TC Caffey.
Yeah.
TC Touchdown Central.
Yeah. That's fun though. I like thinking of the.
I'm just trying to picture Judas Shields as a South Range Raider in that burgundy and gold. How great that would be.
That's why I had to put him in the burgundy and gold.
Yeah, I like that you picked South Range, Scotty. Go Raiders, man! You're being drawn into the fandom a little bit.
Well, I had to.
I thought you were going to go with your home school and say you wanted to coach Lowville.
Well, that'll be too much of a homer. I wanted you to give you a bit of a storyline in this.
All right, Scotty, that's going to be a beautiful way to put a bow on this episode. We want to thank everyone for tuning in today. We want to thank Greenwood Chevrolet for being a sponsor. Scotty, thank you for coming aboard. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 on Running Point. Brought to you by those guys.